When my boyfriend's billionaire father humiliated me in front of everyone, my blood turned to ice. He had no idea I wasn't an ordinary girl, and that very night marked the beginning of the fall of his power, pride, and empire. That laughter still echoes in my ears. The spoon struck the glass, and silence spread across the entire dining hall. Then he said it, as if crushing something were an art. "Do you really think you belong here?" Everyone was looking at me. Under the crystal chandelier, surrounded by silk dresses, expensive watches, and practiced smiles, I suddenly felt very small. My heart seemed to stop for a moment. My hands were cold, and my blood felt frozen in my veins. This was his father. A billionaire. The media's favorite. The king of the city. And there he was, staring at me in front of everyone, as if I were a mistake that had wandered into the wrong room. My boyfriend, Evan, was sitting right next to me, completely silent. His silence hurt more than the words themselves. I didn't try to respond. Not because I lacked words, but because I understood something very clearly in that moment. This man would never see me as human. That was when I realized humiliation doesn't always arrive screaming. Sometimes it speaks softly, politely, with perfect manners, and breaks you from the inside. I left early that night. The air in the parking lot was cold, and for the first time, I let myself cry. I thought of my mother, a nurse who worked double shifts and still came home smiling, always saying, "We just keep surviving." I remembered the day I lost my apartment because I couldn't pay my medical bills on time. I wasn't a rich girl. I was an ordinary American woman, stuck between debt, exhaustion, and hope. Evan called me later. He said, "He's just a little blunt. Don't take it the wrong way." Something broke at that exact moment. I stopped going to his house the following week. But I didn't stay quiet. I did what I had always done to survive. I watched, I listened, and I remembered. I worked at a small non-profit organization that handled eviction cases and helped people crushed by financial misconduct. It wasn't glamorous work. It was paperwork, long hours, and stories that followed you home at night. But it taught me how power really operates, quietly, through systems most people never look at. That was where I found the file. A name. A trust. A company that wasn't registered under his father's name, but was undeniably under his control. I told myself it was probably a coincidence. But coincidences don't repeat themselves. I started digging deeper. Late nights, my cheap laptop humming on a scratched kitchen table, empty coffee mugs piling up beside me. One irregular transaction here. One quiet settlement there. No dramatic movie-style conspiracy, just money, influence, and men who believed no one was paying attention. At work, my boss noticed the change. One afternoon she asked, "Are you okay? You've been very focused lately." I just said, "I've seen someone's pride." When I finally told Evan that I was looking into his father's companies, he panicked. His voice dropped. "This is dangerous. You don't know who he is." I answered calmly, "He knows exactly who I'm not." I didn't go after revenge directly. I didn't confront anyone or make threats. I simply gathered everything he thought was scattered and harmless. I organized it. Verified it. Checked it twice. Then I handed the file to a journalist, a tired, honest man who had spent his career circling big names without ever being let inside. I told him, "It's not sensational. It's just the truth." The story broke a week later. First online. Then on television. Then silence. Stock prices fell. Emergency board meetings were called. Lawyers appeared where friends used to be. That confident smile I had seen under the chandelier vanished from public view. Evan left me. Maybe it was too much for him. Or maybe, for the first time, he realized I truly didn't belong to the world he thought he understood. It hurt, but it didn't destroy me. I learned how to breathe again. Months later, I was back at the non-profit office when a woman walked in clutching a stack of notices, fear written across her face. I helped her the way no one had helped me when I needed it most. As she left, shoulders lighter than when she arrived, I understood something clearly. This was real power. I never saw them again. Not Evan. Not his father. Not that world of chandeliers and polished cruelty. But sometimes, when I look at myself in the mirror, I smile. That night, he humiliated me. What he never knew was that I wasn't an ordinary girl. I am the kind of woman who watches quietly, gathers the truth, and when the time is right, takes one step. And that one step is enough. If this story moved you, made you think, or stayed with you even after the last line, please take a moment to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Your support truly helps these stories reach more people. Thank you for listening, for your time, and for being part of this community.